There has been anxiety in the National Assembly following President Muhammadu Buhari's rejection of a bill on the reordering of the 2019 election sequence. Some of the lawmakers are pushing to override the president's veto, even though a federal high court in Abuja has ordered the National Assembly to stop further action on the Electoral Act amendment. TVC political correspondent Ayodele Ozubakun examines the imminent face-off between the two arms of government.
On February 14, the Senate and the House of Representatives adopted the conference report of the Electoral Act Amendment Committee. In the 2010 Electoral Act as amended, elections will hold in two phases. First is the Presidential and National Assembly election, and then the Governorship and State House of Assembly poll. But the amendment proposed by the lawmakers is a three-leg process. The National Assembly election first, then the Governorship and the State Assembly poll before the presidential election. But the president, in a correspondence to the National Assembly, declined assent to the bill. This is the second major bill that the president has declined to sign in the last 1 month, the first being the Peace Corps bill. There have been threats by some legislators that the National Assembly will invoke its powers under Section 58, subsection 5 of the Constitution to override the president's withholding of assent. This will require a two-thirds majority vote from both chambers.
He is not in the position to assent to the proposed bill because that will amount to interfering with the constitutional powers granted to INEC to conduct, supervise, as well as organize elections. And so the president is saying that he does not want to assent to that bill because he does not want to, violate the provisions of the Constitution.
Subsection, remember, the omnibus section of Section 58 provides for every law made by the National Assembly to come by way of bill. And that bill, after passing the first, second reading and all the stages, must be assented by the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
He set the stage for the National Assembly to exercise its power. I assume when the president exercises his power, rather quickly in my view, that the president had done a head count of his supporters in the National Assembly. Because the president knows that he's not in control of his party members in the National Assembly. He knows it is the same National Assembly that has been blocking his nominees. So he knows.
To some Nigerians, the seeming power play by the legislature and the executive might be purely selfish.
It's a personal thing. They're interested in personal gains, how they will return to the National Assembly and continue the route.
Well,
Somebody has gone to court, and the court has ruled that they cannot amend our constitution. They can make laws, but we cannot amend our constitution. If you need to do that, then all the 36 state assemblies will be involved for you to change anything in the constitution of Nigeria.
Legal practitioners point to the judiciary as the only arm of government that can resolve the impasse.
A dispute has arisen. And when there's a dispute has arisen, a constitutional dispute has arisen, which organ has the powers to resolve the logjam? It's the judiciary.
The National Assembly widened the scope of that jurisdiction to allow a dispute between an arm of government, the legislature, and the executive to be brought straight away to the Supreme Court. So it won't waste time. But if it is the High Court they also want to go, you can go to the court and then the court can then use what is called the blue pencil rule.
The Accord Party had earlier gone to court to challenge the constitutionality of the ongoing amendment of the Electoral Act. But the Senate has declared that the Federal High Court order stopping the National Assembly from taking further action is not binding on the legislature, hinging its position on a well-acclaimed doctrine of separation of power. Ayodele Ozubakun, TVC News, Lagos.